Hey, good afternoon. Hello, everyone. This is Carla Matzdorf. How is everybody today? I am a certified health and life coach that works with moms to overcome anxiety, and I'm also admin to the group Overcoming Anxiety for Stressed Out Moms Who've Had Enough. I usually go live every Thursday at 3 Eastern Time to talk to you about anxiety, what is it, why you may be experiencing it, and also how to overcome it. Today, I am coming on live because this week I'm doing something different. I'm going live every single day to bring you some kind of pro tip. So check out the ones I did Monday and Tuesday. Today, I am talking all about, there's a lot of you that suffer from panic attacks. So today, what I want to do is give you a pro tip on how to quickly get through that panic attack, diffuse that panic attack, so that you're not experiencing panic all day long. Hey ladies, how is everybody today? I'm just giving a pro tip about how to quickly diffuse a panic attack. Now, not everybody who has a panic disorder not everybody who has an anxiety disorder has experienced panic, okay? Panic is the fear of fear. When I think of panic, I think of an anxiety on a scale, all right? 1 being slight, 10 being a lot, okay, when it comes to fear. So anxiety, when you have, let's say, generalized anxiety, you have generalized anxiety is handling anxiety. It's more, you're able to deal with it, right? It doesn't take over your life so much. It's very generalized. You feel the feelings, but somehow they're not enough that maybe you won't go on medication. You're able to get through the day. You're functioning well. As you add fear, as you add emotion, okay, you climb up what I call that anxiety scale. When you hit a 10, okay, I say you're panicked. That means you are so fearful, fear has taken over so much that you get all these symptoms, and now you're fearing the symptoms so much, okay, that you think you're dying, you think you're going crazy, you think you're going out of your mind. I know when I suffered from a panic disorder, because I had panic so badly. The panic took over my life, and I panicked every day for years. Constantly, my heart was coming out of my chest. I had so much energy in me, so much of those stressful hormones in me, that I paced all over my house. The palpitations drove me crazy. I thought I was always dying, rushing to the ER thinking I'm having a heart attack. And I was hyperventilating a lot. My breathing was always off. I felt like I couldn't breathe. I would get dizzy, and, lightheaded, that shortness of breath where I thought I just couldn't breathe. And I would tell myself, Carla, you could breathe. But I was always over breathing. So people who panic, and if you're coming on, ladies, I'm coming to you live to give you a pro tip on how to quickly overcome panic attacks. Because a lot of you suffer from panic, and you want to know how to go from a 10 to a 1, right? You want to know how to quickly overcome. The biggest symptoms of panic are usually the heart, the racing heart coming out of your chest, the palpitations, and the over breathing, the hyperventilation, where you think, you're dizzy, you pass out, you think you're gonna faint, right? You have the tingleness in your extremities, like you feel tingleness all over your body. And you could feel like a weakness and fatigue, all from over breathing, right? You're taking in so much oxygen. So how do we stop panic in its tracks? How do we get through that quickly? Okay. So when you start feeling symptoms of panic, all right, see, the first thing is when you start understanding I have a panic disorder, and you start understanding the symptoms of panic and you start feeling them, you can start taking control by breath work, all right? Deep diaphragm breathing, right? So, but the thing is, if you're already hyperventilating, okay? Now, I remember when I had panic many years ago, everyone say, breathe, Carla, just breathe. But the thing is, when you're hyperventilating, you're over breathing. And a lot of the breath work out there will say, take a deep breath in, right? And blow out. But the problem is you're already over breathing. It's very hard to take a deep breath when you're already breathing, right? Taking so many breaths. So what do? And I swear this works. Start off by breathing out. Instead of trying to take a deep breath in, the first thing is take a breath out. Breathe out for as long as you can. Hold your breath. Then breathe in. Then breathe out. Hold your breath. And then breathe in. When I breathe like that, it slowed down the hyperventilation. Holding your breath is what was the key for me. It helped slow things down. See, that's the thing. You are in such fight and flight. Your nervous system is so revved up. We need to calm everything down, right? So to calm down the breathing, which is one of the really big symptoms, right? You're already over breathing. So you hold the breath, right? Then you breathe in and then you breathe out. So first thing you want to do is breathe out. Sometimes, believe it or not, the first thing I would do is just hold my breath. It may be just for 1 or 2 seconds. Breathe out. Breathe in. Breathe out. And then I would hold my breath. See, we always learned breathe in, hold breath, breathe out. That's normal breathing, right? However, when you're over breathing, it's hard to breathe in, and sometimes it's hard to even breathe out. So that's what I'm saying. You kind of have to know where you're at. So if you're and breathing really fast, okay, you may want to hold your breath for a little bit, then breathe out, then breathe in, hold your breath and breathe out. Or if you can breathe out first, do that first, hold your breath, breathe in. The thing is to slow down the breathing and get back to breathing in the oxygen and breathing out the excess carbon dioxide. See, the thing is, when you take in too much oxygen, it's going and getting stuck in the lungs. It's mixing with the carbon dioxide, and you're breathing both of it out. So it's too much oxygen. So you want to balance that. Your pH is off, and you want to balance it. So you may start off with practicing of holding your breath and then breathing out, breathing in. And then when you could balance that, then you can go into that slow diaphragm breathing, where you're breathing now from your stomach, not your chest. See, the thing is, when you're very stressed and anxious, we tend to breathe from our chest, but you want to breathe from your stomach. And the best way to know that, and I'm just going to aim the camera down, is you want to put your hand on your diaphragm and breathe in. And when you breathe in, your tummy, okay, your abdomen should rise. But if your chest is rising, you're doing more chest breathing. You want to get it so that you're slowing everything down and you're breathing more from your tummy. You want to feel the rise against your hand. You could put a pillow there so that you could just watch the pillow go up and down. It just really depends on how you want to practice this. And then you can start breathing in through your nose. You can start with maybe something little like 4 counts, holding it for as comfortable as you can, and then breathe out. Now you can count. You can do like 4, hold for a couple seconds and breathe out maybe 6. You always want your exhales to be more than your inhales. That's what you will eventually want to get to. But for purposes of, let's say you're not used to these breathing exercises, right? You just are beginning to slow everything down. So maybe what you want to do is just start with comfortable. If you can only breathe in 2, if you can only hold for 1 and exhale 3, then do that. Practice is what's going to make it better. Practice this to the point where maybe you could breathe in 6 and hold for 8 and breathe out 10. And relax. Just relax. But to quickly slow down panic is to understand what you're experiencing, the hyperventilation, to breathe out first or to hold your breath first. That's why people blow into paper bags. Did you ever see that? Because you want to change what you're breathing in. You have too much oxygen, so you want to now take in more carbon dioxide, right? So that's why it doesn't make sense that you want to breathe in first, because you already have too much oxygen. You don't want to take in more oxygen, right? You want to breathe out, or you want to hold that, then breathe out, then breathe in. Okay, so that will slow down hyperventilation, okay? Getting in control of your breathing. Now, when you're panicked, you have a big surge of stress chemicals going through your body, right? The adrenaline, the cortisol. Now, the quickest way, first of all, is, all right, you have control of your thinking, right? Instead of saying, I'm panicking, I'm freaking out, what do I do? Oh my God, I'm dying. If you understand what panic is, you can start telling yourself it's adrenaline, it's cortisol, it's stress hormones that are excessive in my body. That's all it is. It's nothing else. I'm not having a heart attack. There's no need to tell myself I'm going crazy. I'm not going crazy. I'm of sound mind. I just have an excess of the stress chemicals in my bloodstream. Now, ladies, you may have to go to the ER several times and get checked before you can talk to yourself with that kind of self-talk, because you're not going to believe it and you're going to want to be checked. So anytime you have these strong symptoms, if you're not confident in what you're feeling, go get checked by your doctor until you're confident, so that when you feel these feelings, you could talk to yourself differently. The next thing I want you to do, the best way to sop up all those stress chemicals that are causing the panic, get moving. Do not lay in bed. Do not lay in on the couch or sit on the couch. Do not be sedentary. Get moving. do some kind of vigorous exercise. Get moving, get going, get doing. My biggest thing was if I started hyperventilating, and I knew I was hyperventilating, I would start breathing, and then what I would do is, because my heart was going, right? And I felt like, oh, I couldn't breathe, I would go up and down the stairs. I would just jog up and down the stairs. And yes, it makes your heart's already beating. I understand what you're thinking. My heart's already beating, and that's scary. And you're telling me to go up and down the stairs. The thing is, when you have the palpitations or when your heart's beating fast, you think you're having a heart attack. The one thing I learned is someone who's truly having a heart attack could barely walk, right? If you can do jumping jacks, if you can run up and down the stairs, if you can do push-ups, if you can do some kind of vigorous exercise, if you can walk fast, if that's all you could do is go outside and start pacing in your backyard or walk around the block, someone who's truly having a heart attack can't do that. So if you can comfortably go up and down the stairs, and you don't have chest pain from going up and down the stairs, you're not having a heart attack, ladies. And that's how I really convinced myself that my heart, that the cardiologist, all those checkups I'm getting, okay, because at first it was hard to believe. But that's how I understood, yeah, I'm not really having a heart attack. So between practicing breathing, the breath work, and doing some kind of vigorous exercise, I learned to be so afraid of panic. But it didn't stop the panic right away. What really, really stopped my panic, and the quickest way to stop your panic, is surrender. Just surrender to the feeling. Surrender. Tell yourself it's just adrenaline. It's just cortisol. Surrender. When I surrendered, I literally, didn't care if the feeling was there or not. Didn't care what it did to me. I literally felt the wave. I rode the wave of that panic. I felt it from head to toe. And I never, ever experienced panic again. When you could completely surrender, it doesn't have use anymore. I was not fearing the feelings anymore. And since panic is the fear of fear, if I didn't fear the symptoms, there was no reason to panic anymore. And it never happened again. I haven't had a panic attack since 2006. My last day was in 2006 after days of feeling panic for years. Because I just surrendered. I did have anxiety, but not panic. And they are different. But ladies, if you just came on, I just gave you a pro tip on how to deal with those panicky symptoms and diffuse those panic attacks immediately. Okay, what to do. So rewatch this live training. And ladies, tomorrow I'll be on again talking about something else, giving you another pro tip on what you can do to deal with anxiety. Well, I don't want you to just deal with it, but at first you have to learn what anxiety is and how to deal with it to overcome it. Because that is the main goal here, to understand what this is. But understanding anxiety alone is not enough, okay? I do stress you need to know what it is, but not just know it. You have to take the right actions to overcome it, all right? And that is what I'm helping you to do. So follow me, stick with me. You are going to understand how to overcome anxiety. Have a fantastic rest of your day. Practice what I mentioned today. And if you need any help, make sure that you contact me and I'll get you through it. Be well. Take care. Bye.